Hi, first grade. Time to get ready for a little more unicorns and germs. We are going to read the next chapter, chapter 4, called Waiting. Before we do that, though, I'm going to quiz you. Do you remember this word that we learned in the first chapter? Do you remember what the word is? Bacteria. Bacteria. And we learned in that chapter that there can be harmful or helpful bacteria. And our next word, do you remember when the unicorn, Tiny, hurt his hoof and she put some antibacterial cream on it, an antibiotic on it? An antibiotic is something that the doctor can give you to help with the harmful bacteria. If you have a bacterial infection, you would get an antibiotic. Boy, learning some big words, aren't we? All right. Waiting. Are you waiting for me to read? Sassafras hopped into my lap and looked up at me. I giggled and tapped his nose. You missed a spot. He licked the dot of yogurt off his nose and settled down, purring in my lap. The milk mixture we'd warmed overnight had magically changed into yogurt this morning. Well, I guess not magically. The bacteria had been working on changing the warm milk into yogurt all night. There we go. But since I couldn't see the bacteria at work, it did seem a little bit like magic. I took another bite. Yum! These bacteria are delicious, I declared. Mom giggled. The honey I drizzled on top doesn't hurt either, huh? I smiled and took my last bite. Do you think Tiny is okay? It's been raining so hard. Magical creatures tend to heal quickly. I bet he's feeling much better today. Sassafras jumped up in surprise and accidentally bonked my chin. Ow! I said. Geez, Sassafras. But he wasn't looking at me. He was staring at the door to the backyard. He let out a low growl, then jumped down and huddled under the kitchen table. Mom, what's the matter with Sass? And then I felt it. The house shook. Dishes rattled. Chairs slid. I think that can only mean one thing. What do you think? What do you think it is? Make a prediction. Mom and I dove under the table with Sassafras. I kept my head down with my hand over my neck. I really thought that I'd fixed Tiny's cut. But because our house was shaking so much, I guess that Tiny wasn't feeling any better. But why is Tiny still limping? I blurted out. Mom had her head down and neck covered too. I don't know, sweetie. You'll just have to wait for the doorbell and find out. The shaking stopped and the doorbell rang. Dad ran into the kitchen. Are you both okay? What is going on with all these earthquakes? This is getting out of hand. As Mom and I crawled out from under the kitchen table, she squeezed my arm and whispered, You go. I'll take care of Dad. Dad kissed my head and I hugged Mom. On my way to the door, I heard Mom, there's Sassafras, tell him that she was having her colleagues look into it. Do you know what a colleague is? There's another big word. Those are the people that she works with at her job. Those are her colleagues. Mrs. Hogan has colleagues. Those would be the other first grade teachers that I work with. So she was telling Zoe's dad that she was going to have her colleagues look into it, the people she works with. Dad probably thought she meant the professors at the college where she worked, but she really meant me. I grabbed a raincoat and tugged on my rain boots. Between the rain and that ginormous unicorn, there was no way Sassafras was coming with me. I ran out to the barn, avoiding the puddles. Once Tiny was better, I had planned to do some serious puddle jumping, but right now I needed to work. Tiny spotted me and took a final hop closer. His good front hoof landed right in an enormous puddle. Oh boy, it created a giant splash of muddy rainwater, which of course completely soaked me. Oops! I wiped my face and smiled. It's not every day you get drenched by a giant unicorn. But my smile quickly faded when I saw Tiny still holding the bad leg in the air. Hi, Tiny. How is your leg feeling? I held my breath, hoping to hear that it was hurting less. Leg bad! Ow, very bad! I let out my breath and my shoulders drooped. Can I look? Tiny carefully lowered his bad leg and I began peeling the tape off. Once I had unpeeled the tape and the plastic wrap, I gasped. Tiny's cut, here we go, looked puffy and red, even worse than it had yesterday. It was puffy and red. It meant Tiny's cut was infected. Tiny's leg was only going to get worse and worse. The antibacterial cream had always worked for me. I didn't know what to try next. I took a deep breath and hollered at the top of my lungs,